You have the numbers, you have the time, and you have the energy to get involved and stay involved in governance discussions until you effect the changes you wish to see. He's also saying young leaders should embrace merit-based governance where policies serve long-term national interests. Another one, he's saying that no one is coming to save us, and as the world turns increasingly inward, the places to seek refuge are rapidly disappearing. What is the biggest problem with that?
Thanks, Sam. Sam, yesterday was the climax of the Youth Week in the PCA churches, and I attended a few of those churches. And my message to the young people was to speak up and take their positions in the society. So for that part, I would not say the former president has a problem or a mistake in saying that. However, for me, what disturbs me is why speak up when you have left? Yet when you were there, we would have expected you to speak up. I'm looking at the first page of the Daily Nation today. And if you remember some in our graph lessons in school, you just look at the gap between each graph. And the gap between His Excellency Mwai Kibaki and His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta speaks a lot for itself. We moved from 1.9 trillion to 8.6 trillion. That's an increase by 6.7 trillion. So when he's telling the young people to speak up, I would appreciate if he also added that they can do better than we all did. Because in his particular case, like now you'll hear what the greatest question I get from my constituents is, Jane, where is the money in this country? And I have to sit down with them, explain to them that we are so debt-ridden that we have to first sort out the debts that we have as a country. So even whatever is getting collected from our taxes goes into paying. And I even give them better examples of telling them, even in your own household, when you are in debt, you cut on so many things. So that is exactly what is happening to our country. So when the former president stands up and tells the young people to speak up, he's telling them to speak up in a good way, but he should also explain to them the crisis we are in are partly contributed by some of us who have been there, including himself. So those are that's the genuineness I'm seeking for, even as we tell young people to speak up. Me, as Jane Kagiri, when I tell my young people to speak up, I'm telling them, also correct me where you see where I have done wrong. But let's not try and make ourselves look good and the other person look bad on the assumption that it is them who got us where we are today. I'll give you the second example, Sam. The last time I was on this show and we were discussing the president's visit, you remember me highlighting a lot about the insecurity in Laikipia County. So many of our young people are killed in his regime because of insecurity. Citizen kept bringing it here on TV. What action did he take? So when you're telling young people, speak up, please also apologize for the mistakes you did to our people. You should have stood up, given us the security that we were speaking about that day, but he didn't. So today when you come up and say things are wrong in this country, at least for Laikipia, I can say our security has been restored.
Because the government is now delivering on what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Now, you referenced the figures on the front page of the Daily Nation. What is the point?
No, I said, as he's telling us to speak up, let's also look at how the debt increased in his regime. From 1.9 trillion in Kibaki's regime, we moved to 8.6 trillion in Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. That said...
And from Uhuru Kenyatta?
And from Uhuru Kenyatta's regime to William Ruto's regime, we are at 11 trillion. That's an increment of around 2.4 trillion.
So is that good or bad?
Of course, Sam, for any country, we don't want to be in debt. We'd all hope for us to get down.
I'm asking that because, as you reference those figures, you realize that Uhuru Kenyatta accumulated debt of 0.7 trillion shillings per year. William Ruto has accumulated 0.96 trillion shillings per year. On the number line, William Ruto is accumulating at a faster rate. And
that's why some we're all in agreement. We have to speak up. Now we have to also tell our regime that we need to check on these numbers because we need to bring them down instead of allowing them to keep going up. But we cannot wait until 2032. This is one of the platforms. Even I am now made aware. To be frank, I was not aware that's what...
Shirley Mweshima, you sit in the budget committee.
Sam, I keep correcting you. This is my last week was my second meeting in the budget committee, so I can't carry the problems of all that has been in budget committee.
Of that. I'm just wondering.
And then I also need to tell you, this is the first time...
TV is the first platform.
This is the first time a Laikipian is sitting in the budget committee since independence.
Surely.
So that one I have to take pride in.
Congratulations for that.
Are some of the milestones this regime is taking up.
It's really good to hear that, good to learn that rather. But you sit in the budget committee. It cannot be that this is the only opportunity you have.
Frankly, this is no, this is not the only opportunity. What I'm saying is, it is not that I have started interacting. Okay. And I like admitting what I have done and what I haven't done. Okay. So that one I admit I haven't.
Oh, all right.